For 3 standard cycles, the collective governments of the Unified Galactic Assembly had watched in horror as the Morgath Armada decimated the outlying human colony of New Terra. The humans, those strange bipeds from the deadly world categorized as Earth, had been fighting valiantly, but were clearly outmatched. The Assembly had debated intervention but ultimately decided against it. The Morgath were brutal conquerors, yes, but they were a known entity. Humans, despite 2 centuries of peaceful cooperation, remained an enigma. Their home planet's extreme conditions, high gravity, volatile atmosphere, deadly radiation levels, and aggressive evolutionary pressures had produced beings that the Assembly's xenobiologists classified with the rare and ominous designation Deathworlders. Most Assembly species evolved on gentle worlds of moderate gravity and mild climates. Even the Morgath, with their chitinous exoskeletons and fearsome appearance, came from a temperate moon with 1/3 Earth's gravity. Admiral Tleek of the Assembly Observation Fleet watched the battle from a safe distance, mandibles clicking in anxiety. The human fleet was being systematically destroyed. Their communications remained open on all channels, broadcasting their desperate struggle to anyone listening. Then something changed. The human communications abruptly ceased. All channels went dead. "What's happening?" Tleek demanded of his communications officer. "Unknown, Admiral," the officer replied, compound eyes blinking rapidly. "They've gone completely silent." Tleek felt an unfamiliar chill in his thorax. In his 300 cycles, he had observed countless species in conflict. None had ever simply stopped communicating mid-battle. The remnants of the human fleet began to move with new purpose, forming a precise geometric pattern. No random evasions, no desperate maneuvers, just cold, calculating precision. Then came the transmission. Not on standard communication channels, but broadcast on a frequency so basic that even primitive technology could receive it. It contained no words, no pleas for help or declarations of defiance, just a simple numeric sequence repeating. "Prime numbers," whispered Science Officer Neela, her luminescent skin paling. "They're broadcasting prime numbers." "What does it mean?" Tleek asked. "It's a message," Neela replied, "but not for the Morgath, it's for Earth." Within moments, sensors detected massive energy fluctuations near the system's edge. Space seemed to fold in on itself as hundreds, then thousands of ships emerged from hyperspace. The Earth Defense Force had arrived. What followed would be remembered for generations across the galaxy. The human vessels moved with terrifying coordination, employing tactics that seemed suicidal to Assembly military analysts. They deliberately took hits to expose Morgath vulnerabilities. They sacrificed ships to create openings. Every movement spoke of a collective will that prioritized victory above individual survival. "They fight like a hive mind," murmured Tleek, second in command. "No," Neela corrected. "Hive minds value the collective above all. Humans value the individual, yet each one willingly risks everything for their whole. It's something else entirely." The battle lasted less than a standard day. When it ended, the Morgath Armada, conquerors of 12 systems and terror of the Outer Rim, was reduced to scattered debris and a handful of surrender signals. The Assembly Council convened an emergency session as reports came in. Representative Grohl, a veteran diplomat, addressed the gathering with unusual bluntness. "We have gravely misunderstood humans," he said, his voice resonating through the chamber. "We saw their adaptability and classified them as dangerous. We noted their resilience and labeled them unpredictable. We observed their diversity and deemed them chaotic." He paused, manipulating the holographic display to show the battle's final moments. "But we failed to recognize their most defining characteristic. These Deathworlders did not fight with barbaric fury as we feared. They fought with calculated restraint." The recording showed human ships disabling rather than destroying many Morgath vessels once victory was assured. It showed them retrieving escape pods, enemy escape pods after the battle. "For 2 centuries, humans have adapted to our ways," Grohl continued. "They moderated their strength, tempered their reactions, and conformed to our diplomatic protocols. We mistook this for their natural state. We never asked what would happen if they stopped accommodating us." 3 days later, A human diplomatic vessel requested permission to dock at the assembly station. Their message was simple. We wish to discuss the Morgath situation and our role in the galaxy moving forward. Admiral Tleek, now assigned as security liaison for the diplomatic meeting, observed the human representatives with new eyes. They appeared the same. Their soft skin lacking natural protection, their bodies requiring constant temperature regulation, their faces expressing emotions with alien complexity. Yet knowing what he now knew, Tleek saw them differently. The lead, human diplomat, a man named Thomas, spoke with the same measured courtesy that had characterized human interaction for 2 centuries. But beneath the diplomatic language was an unmistakable shift. They were no longer asking for their place in galactic society. They were defining it. As the meeting concluded, Thomas approached Tleek privately. Admiral, I sense you have questions, the human said. Tleek hesitated, then asked what many in the assembly wondered. Why did you wait so long? If you possessed such military capability, why endure 2 centuries of being underestimated? Thomas smiled. An expression Tleek had learned meant either pleasure or imminent aggression. Context suggested the former. Admiral, on Earth we have a saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. We hoped never to reveal the extent of that stick. We still hope never to use it again. As Thomas turned to leave, he added, We come from a harsh world, Admiral. It taught us that survival sometimes requires terrible strength. But our civilization was built when we learned that strength alone isn't enough. The true challenge is knowing when not to use it. That day marked a fundamental recalibration in galactic politics. The term Deathworlder remained, but its connotation shifted from barely concealed fear to something approaching respect. Humans hadn't simply defended their colony. They had demonstrated a restrained power that terrified and reassured in equal measure. Among the younger species of the assembly, a saying became popular. Pray you never see the day when the Deathworlders get serious. The older species, those who had witnessed that day, didn't need to pray, they remembered.